times, good times. I should probably give this kit back to my daughter because she is actually really mad at me for having it. So here we go. Here, you can have it back. Welcome to Great Students Live. We've been doing this all summer. We're having an awesome time. I hope you are enjoying us, and I hope you are enjoying getting to know a little bit about yourself, a little bit about God, about who you are to God, and about who God is to you. All right, right now I'm holding an item off screen. I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you gotta tell me in the chat whether you think I am lying. Are you ready for this? Get ready to type. I am holding an entire bike straight out at my side. What do you think? Am I telling you the truth or am I lying? And while you type, I'm gonna show, oh, she's so mad at me right now, but isn't this the most adorable baby? Oh. All right, you right? Have you had enough time to type? Let me show you. I never lie. Check out this bike. Isn't this the most amazing, beautiful balance bike you've ever seen? All right, well, I hope you got it right. I hope you knew that Adam would never lie to you. And I hope you enjoy this next section called Zoom of Lies.
Welcome to Zoom of Lies with Kate, John, and Kate's little spud friend, Budsy. All right, guys, here's how Zoom of Lies works. I'm going to send Kate and John a photo of a random collection of objects, and they have to either describe what's in the photo to the other person, or they can choose to lie, and it's up to the other person to guess what they've done, if they've lied or told the truth. The winner is the person who guesses the most answers correct. Are we ready?
Just to be clear, I Googled 5 minutes before we got on here how to tell if someone's lying, so I know exactly how to tell a lie.
You're a human
Just
lie.
so we're clear.
That's all it takes, folks. John, I'm gonna send you a picture first.
Okay.
Tell Kate a lie or a truth.
In this picture that Blair just sent me that I received, there's a plate, a little bowl, and there's Jello of the I feel like it's an orange variety. It's probably like an orange flavored Jello. The color's a little, I can't really tell so far. And inside the Jello is a perfectly solved Rubik's Cube.
Well, I feel like such an image exists on the internet. I think people enjoy looking at things inside of Jello.
Oh, really? Did not know that was a thing.
I'm thinking of like The Office,
yes.
Like people enjoy that kind of stuff. I'm gonna say that you're telling the truth. What is it?
You are correct.
Yeah, buddy.
There's a Rubik's Cube inside of a plate or bowl of Jello. Okay. Is Kate about to tell you the truth?
Well, I can tell when she's lying.
Or lie to your face.
Tell when I'm lying. All right. So, in my photo, I also have a plate. And on top of the plate is a taco. Okay? Inside of the taco are various colors of jelly beans.
John?
So, from my expert research about 5 minutes before I got on here, apparently if you look to the right with your eyes, you're lying.
Oh.
Now, there was a moment when Kate was explaining that where she did like Blair, I think you could rewind it back. There's one of these, she does one of this for a split second, okay?
Yeah, let's
she does one of those.
That footage.
I can't tell which side she's looking at right now because we're on Zoom and I can't tell my left and right.
I don't know if it's flipped.
But I feel like she was looking right. One of that is when she lied about what she was explaining. So I feel like there's some elements of truth, but ultimately it's a lie.
All right, well.
Google, don't fail me.
Telling the truth.
I was telling the truth. The reason why I was looking to the right
because
I didn't have my phone and Blair's text message was on the side of my Zoom screen. I was looking at it to describe it, but I grabbed my.
They don't teach you that in internet life.
Google.
hitting send now. The
Okay.
picture is on its way.
Okay. Yeah. So what she sent me is a picture of a football field. It's not a full football. It's not like a real football field, but it's like a animated football field. But on the football field, instead of grass, is smashed up avocado. So it's just like avocado. So it's not grass, but it's like, so this is not like a real picture, but it's like an animated picture. And in place of the humans that do the footballing are shrimps that are playing football with little shrimp helmets on them. So they're just like sticking out of the avocado. And so there's two different sides of the footballers. And instead of humans, they're shrimps.
Okay.
Very
So,
hungry.
if I was a Pinterest mom
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to create a Super Bowl themed party
Mm-hmm.
for my friends
Mm-hmm.
and maybe my kids' friends,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a football field with some guacamole at the bottom and some shrimps just like hanging out playing football would be the star of the show. But by the same, I mean, I can't have shrimp. I'm allergic to shellfish, so I would actually
Oh.
be able to
You would
try this.
die.
But
That would be a
I would
donut.
die. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is a truth because I really think that a Pinterest mom came up with this idea and created this for a Super Bowl party.
Okay.
John, I see a smirk in the corners of your
see
your
a
mouth.
smirk.
Well, it's because I feel like I'm gonna quit my job being the high school pastor and be a Pinterest mom and start making shrimp. Because kid, I literally just started talking about random stuff. It's not a picture of that. But
It
now I
is-
feel like I have a new business idea.
It's a
Either-
photo of a glass piggy bank filled with shrimp. Or
But now
in
I have a new
terms of
business
Kate's
idea.
allergies, it's a glass piggy bank full of death. Kate, your photo
I'm looking at your eyes, Kate.
is on its way.
Okay, I have it on my phone now. How do I describe this? I don't know how to describe this. Okay, I'm staring at a giraffe. Okay, like a
Mhm.
giraffe. He has 3 donuts on his neck. Like they fit around his neck. There's a sprinkled donut, like a frosted donut with like chocolate.
What color? Oh, chocolate frosting.
Chocolate, yeah, and like one of those powdered donuts,
Mm-hmm.
and they're around his neck. He is really enjoying his life. Like he seems like he's having a really good time.
I know the answer. Because Google, before I got on here, as my father-in-law comes across the camera, as Google taught me as I looked on, I was watching Kate very carefully and seeing her mannerisms. If you touch your face when you are saying something, let's cue to the
replay.
beginning.
Let's
cue,
do the
replay the
replay.
beginning. The touching of the face, I feel like cued a lie. I think she would have dove right in if she had an image like this and started talking about it. But she was like, I don't know how to explain it in the beginning. And then she touched her face, and those things combined make me believe that she's telling a lie.
I have to say, Kate, I was very impressed because I know what you were looking at, and it
What
sounds
was she looking at?
to me like you were lying, but you were actually telling the truth. For
Oh,
Kate,
jeez.
it is 3-1.
Oh,
Kate
jeez.
wins
Oh,
Doom of Lies.
guys, this is why you shouldn't use Google for your homework assignment, okay?
All right, guys, thanks for playing. These items will be in the mail to you and arrive at your doorstep in a couple days. Thanks for playing. We'll be back with Zoom of Lies at some point in the future.
Now, I don't know about you. I don't know if you have things laying around your house that you regret getting, but this is one of those for us. This is like a little Yamaha keyboard that the kids love, but here's the thing. This is what we hear all day long. Ready? All day long. And no matter how many times we say turn it down, they always figure out how to turn it back up. So I don't know why we haven't gotten rid of it yet, but I bet you have stuff like this in your house, things that you were excited about when you got, things you thought you would love, but now things that you kind of wish you had never spent your time and money on. Blair's about to tell us a story about something like that. We've all got experiences like that, and I think we all have places in our lives, not just stuff, not just a keyboard or a bike or whatever it is that you regret, but we have things in our life that are more important. Things like church and like worship, times and seasons where we feel like what we're doing is maybe a waste of time. And I wonder if right now you might feel that way because we're just having to do things so differently. We're not able to be together in person. We're not able to do the things we've always done. You know, I think for a lot of us, we're going through a season of wondering what church and worship is all about. So Blair's got this amazing story. There's this woman we're gonna look at, and I bet you as you listen, as I have, that it'll change your perspective on the whole thing.
One of the things I really miss about school is field trips. I love field trips. And I remember this one field trip I went on, like late elementary school, early middle school, where my parents had given me $20 to take on the field trip with me. I didn't get an allowance, so it kind of felt like $2,000. And my plan going into the trip was spend as little as possible, pocket as much as possible, and then when mom tells you you can't buy something later, you just whip out your own money and you can buy it anyway. So I go on the field trip, we get back on the bus to go home, and I'm sitting in my seat and I decide to open my wallet to see how much money I'm going home with. 15, 12, 10, any one of those would be fine. I open up my wallet and there's like 30 cents in there and I am crushed. Where did it go? So, all right, I had lunch, I had to buy lunch, and then I bought this really awesome like tube squishy toy at the gift shop, and then I lent $5 to one of my classmates hoping that they'd be my friend, and given that I can't remember who they are currently, it probably didn't work, and I never saw that $5 again. So all I have to show for my 20 is this. And I felt stupid. I felt embarrassed. This $20, really? Have you ever done that where you've like poured time and investment and money into something and it just didn't return? Whether it's sports, you're playing a sports game and you're moving the sports ball down the field court to score sports points, and it's the best moment of your life except you scored on the wrong side. There's like a support group for that. There has to be. Or you're doing a school project and you pour all this time and investment into it and you get a bad grade in return, or you've invested years and emotion into a friendship or a relationship only to have it fall apart. Or you go to church, or you go to a worship service or a retreat or a Bible study, and you go looking for healing and peace and answers, and at least knowing that there might be a God out there who actually cares about you, and you come back feeling like maybe you had a connection or maybe you didn't, but either way, you're home, you're in your room, you're back alone with your thoughts, and you're kind of left wondering, what did I even get out of that? And you feel a little embarrassed, a little stupid, a little self-conscious. I think sometimes worship can kind of be that way, and church and maybe other people in our lives will sometimes ask the question, is what you worship, is the thing that you're pursuing, is the thing that you're after worth what you have? If my parents had asked me, is this all you have to show for your $20? Was it worth it? I would have said, heck yes, favorite toy right here. I love this thing. I'll take it with me everywhere. Why? Because I didn't want to be wrong and I didn't want to be embarrassed. If I was wrong, it meant we'd have to go and return this. And then what would I have to show? They would take the money. I would have missed an opportunity to buy something. I would have missed out on $20 and I would have had to have given it up. And where I see this most often in our lives is relationships. We pour a lot of time and investment into a friendship or a romantic relationship and years, and we look back and we know that person's not healthy and we know that the relationship isn't healthy, but if I let it go, then what do I have? I've lost my best friend. Will I ever get a best friend again? I've lost my boyfriend, my girlfriend. Will I ever get a boyfriend or girlfriend ever again? And worst question to ask is, am I even friendship or a relationship material? Is there something inherently wrong with me? And so we cling on to things and we don't want to be wrong and we don't like that question. Is what you're serving, is what you're following worth what you have? And that's really what worship is. It's honoring the one you follow, the one you serve with the things that you have. There's a story in Mark 14, 3-9, where I've read it a bunch of times. It's altogether not a super interesting story in my opinion. It's kind of a boring story, I always thought, but I had a little bit of a perspective shift that kind of changed my whole outlook on this story. Maybe you've heard it before. So to give you a little context, we're a couple days before Jesus' arrest. We're actually the night before Passover. And he's having dinner at a guy's house named Simon. And he's having dinner with his disciples. And that's where we're going to pick up the story. So while he was eating, a woman came in with a beautiful alabaster jar of expensive perfume made from the essence of nard. She broke the seal and poured the perfume over his head. Now, these two sentences alone are like, what? If I was sitting at home with my family having dinner and some stranger walked into our home, ignored everybody else in the room and just beelined it for my mom or my dad or my aunt, uncle, and poured oil or perfume over their head, what just happened? Like, you had to think the disciples were like, what's going on? There's Jesus, there's a lady, she's walking towards you, pouring something on you. I don't know if I should react. You don't seem to be reacting. It's very weird. Simon, did you lock the door? Like, what just happened? But after they get over the initial shock, they're absolutely indignant. Some of those at the table were indignant. Why waste such expensive perfume, they asked. It could have been sold for a year's wages. It could have been money that was given to the poor, so they scolded her harshly. Some passages say this woman was a widow, so she only would have had this perfume and the clothes on her back and maybe some jewelry, if that, to her name. She would have had no property, no money. Women had investments like that. And it was very expensive. Nard came from Asia. It was a whole year's worth of wages. It could have fed a family for a year or could have fed 500 people for a day. Who knows? But the disciples are indignant. And then Jesus totally gets up in their grill and they're like, guys, one, this actually happened 4 days ago. Same type of thing, except the lady poured oil on my feet. I taught you then, you totally forgot it now, but let's rehash. Do not scold her. Leave her alone. Why criticize her for doing such a good thing to me? You will always have the poor among you, and you can help them whenever you want to, but you will not always have me. She has done what she could and has anointed my body for burial ahead of time. I tell you the truth, wherever the good news is preached throughout the world, this woman's deed will be remembered and discussed. Now, some people have a problem with the fact that Jesus appears to be saying the poor don't matter. He appears to not really care about them, but actually his focus and her focus, or his focus rather, will teach us something about where her focus is at. He's going, hey, look, care for the poor. I've always taught you that. You should care for one another. Widows, the poor, this woman even qualifies as somebody who could actually use the money she's pouring out over my head. But look, after they're fed and after they have money, after the money is spent, they're going to be hungry again and they're going to need more money. You're focusing on temporary problems. Their biggest problem is that they're not united with God. Their biggest problem is sin, and I'm about to go solve that problem. I've been telling you guys that for ages now, and you don't get it. The only person in the room who gets it, who gets what I'm about to do, is this woman. Usually what you did with the lamb before you sacrificed it at Passover was you would anoint its hooves, its feet, and then you would anoint its head. Jesus' feet were anointed just days earlier, and the disciples missed it then, and they're missing it now. This woman sees something that they don't. She understands something that they don't get just yet. And she's about to teach us something about worship. You see, yeah, she worshiped. She honored the one that she followed, the one that she served with the things that she had. And so what we often get hung up on is her deeds and her circumstances, and then we compare ourselves. I would never do that. I could never do that. If I had the opportunity, I probably wouldn't. I've had the opportunity and I didn't. Where she sees opportunity to follow Jesus and to worship him, I see obligation, and I don't know what to do about that. She saw an opportunity to give and to serve and to worship. And when I go to church and when I go to Bible studies and retreats and GSL and stuff like this, like, I just see obligation. I could never be her. And so we get lost in guilt, lost in that question. Are you honoring the one you serve with the things that you have? And is the one that you're serving worth the things that you have? We feel shame and embarrassment and we stop there. But she doesn't. You see, I think it's a waste to stop there because there's so much more here. You see, what she teaches us about worship is it's not just about honoring the one you serve with the things that you have. What she teaches us about worship is that it is a response to the realization of who God is, what he's done, what he's doing, and what he will do. Worship, hear me again, worship is a response to the realization of who God is, what he's done, what he's doing, what he's about to do. There was nobody else in that room for her. She saw Jesus and she beelined it. Nothing and no one else in that room existed. Their criticism, their critiques, nothing else mattered. Why? Because our identity is intricately tied to the things we worship. Whether it's God or a circumstance or a relationship or a thing, it doesn't matter what it is. Our identity will be informed by the thing that we worship, and our worship will be informed by our identity. Guys, for the past 6 weeks, we've encouraged you to discover and own something about who you are, who God is, who you are to God, and who God is to you. Why? Because it matters. What you worship will inform those questions, and you're not going to get answers to those questions through right behavior, through anyone else, and it's up to you to figure out the answer. But the truth remains, Jesus is supreme, he is sufficient, he is everything we want, everything we need, and more. And you know what? I don't even think that Jesus is who we have a problem with. I don't even think that Jesus, in all of religion, I don't even think that Jesus is our problem. I think our problem is if we accept Jesus, it changes everything. You see, if we accept Jesus, if we really experience and encounter who he is and own who he is, worship follows, sacrifice follows. We want to give our all to him, but we also want to hold on to it. We want to hold on to that relationship. We want to hold on to that thing. We want to hold on to that circumstance. We want to hold on to certainty. My encouragement to you guys is this: stay curious. Stay humbly curious about who Jesus is. Pursue him at any cost. Don't let other religious sayings, other religious behavior, other religious criticism stop you or get in the way of you and Jesus. Don't let the fact that something is boring or uninteresting or not entertaining enough or confusing or the fact you don't understand it, don't let any of that get in the way of your curiosity of who Jesus is. He's everything. Guys, he's everything. Can you imagine what that moment was like, to walk into a room and not even be aware of what was going on around you because all you saw was Jesus? And not just the person, but everything he represented. He represented peace, comfort, answers, contentment, joy, healing, value, purpose, belonging. And in that moment, she experienced all of those things. And there was nothing worth holding on to at the cost of losing that. Stay curious about who Jesus is. Never stop asking. Never stop pursuing. Come up with questions. Talk to your small group leaders. Talk to us. Talk to a parent. Talk to someone. And if there's something or someone in your life who's not spurring you on to Jesus and letting you figure that out, letting you answer those questions, then walk by. Keep walking towards Jesus. Don't let us stop you. Don't let any of this stop you. Slight shift in perspective sometimes changes everything. Slight shift in perspective of who Jesus is can change everything about who you are. And sometimes a slight shift in perspective is all we need to worship.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you, I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working.
All right, I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned that I would never, ever lie to you, and that I have the cutest children of anyone on the student ministry team. It's true. And I hope you learned just a little bit about yourself, about who God is, who you are to God, and who God is to you. If you want to track with us this summer, we're working our way through the book of Mark. And next week, Akash from the East Lexington campus is going to teach out of Mark 15, 1 through 15. So if you want this week, that could be your devotional. Just go to Mark 15, read 1 to 15, maybe read the whole chapter. Think about it, write down some questions about it, and come prepared next week to hear what Akash is going to bring us. It's going to be awesome. Oh, one more thing. Come back next week and see what happens when we interview Pastor Brian with one set of questions, but then after the fact, edit in a whole nother set of questions. It's going to be awesome.
What's your favorite meal? Like on if you could choose whatever meal you wanted, what would you choose? What's your go-to favorite dish?
Cheetah or jungle cat or something wild and ferocious and rare.
Pretty sure that's illegal. Where do you go? Never mind. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I don't need to know.